What's going on, everybody? Today is Monwan Monday, March 18th, 2024. We are back to discuss the latest episode of Survivor 46, episode 3, which was titled WACKADOODLES Win. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. Let's get into it. All right. My name, of course, is John Dunphy Hussein, joined as always by my fellow tribe mates, Mr. Kyle Petty, Miss Gina Morgino, and Mr. Mikey Marmon. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Hey.
Good,
Mikey was here on time, so we're doing great.
I'm in Eastern time again. I know what's going on.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good
back
to
in
have
New
you
York,
back.
baby.
Nice.
Not the part of New York I want to be in, but in New York nonetheless.
Sure, fair
Nice.
enough.
Yeah, nice to have you back in the Eastern time zone, you know? But yeah, we're Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We're on every social media platform, so find us there. Throw us a like, a comment, a follow, and yeah. All right, I guess we should get into this episode, right? Kyle
Let's
dropped
do
out
it.
briefly. He'll be right back. Okay, so I heard a little bit of what you guys actually were saying before I joined you in the Restream studio, and I have to say that I agree. I thought I was really going to like this cast, but a lot of them I'm really not loving. It just feels so like, I don't know, chaotic and all over the place. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think.
I feel like we were just so spoiled last season because that was such a good group that we were set up to fail. Like anybody this season wasn't going to measure up to them, you know. But I don't know. I don't feel endeared towards most of them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's just like maybe we haven't seen enough of some of the other tribes yet, but like I felt like last season it really felt like almost right from the jump. We were all like, yes, I like this person, I like this person, I like this person. I'd be happy if any of these people won. There's very few people on this season that I'm like, yes, I want you to win $1 million. And I gotta say, our last pick, Mr. Ben, is probably top of my list right now.
Honestly, I don't know what happened here.
I'm loving it. I don't know. I like his vibe. Something about
literally
him.
the last leftover of the season, and we're like, we love this man.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. He's like just like seems like a genuinely good person who like also feels like he could probably play the game decently, which I think is what it is. But yeah, for the most part, it feels like, I don't know, people are being mean for the sake of being mean. People are like whinier than I feel like I'm used to. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. And it's like, it's hard. Do you think it is just the cast, or is it just like, did we get really lucky last time? And like, because I feel like some of this could have to do with like the format of the game, as we've been complaining about too. Like maybe this cast in a 2-tribe format or something would work better. I don't know. Like I don't know how to put it, but like, did last year's cast make up for the fact that this format is lacking? Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, I also feel like we lucked out a lot last year because a lot of the twists that have been lacking came through last year. You know, we saw the shot in the dark pay off in a really, really awesome way. We saw a lot of these like idols that are supposed to be split between tribes or whatever work out in really, really satisfying ways that, like, again, it's early in the season and we've spent most of our time focusing on the same tribe. So it is possible that like the people we like just haven't really gotten screen time yet, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's weird too, because I actually last week I almost felt like the opposite. Like it really turned for me in this episode 3, because in episode 2, like I was tired of like the 2-hour episode. Like I felt like they didn't really need it, but I felt like, okay, we're seeing more of each tribe, even though it's Yanu that's being decimated. Like because we're getting 2-hour episodes, like we're seeing a little bit more of each tribe. Like that whole Ben and Charlie like song off that they did, like that was something that we wouldn't have seen.
I love Charlie.
Right. Oh yeah, I do really like Charlie, but like I feel like that type of segment with a tribe that wasn't going to tribal council in like a 90-minute or 60-minute episode, we wouldn't have gotten that sort of segment. So I felt like maybe we're going to see more of each tribe and get to know them better, and like we'll like this more. I don't know. But now 3 episodes in, I feel like I dislike this season more than any in like the new era. I feel like
Yeah, I think part of it is that like it feels like we're almost getting the same sort of story beats as like the one tribe is constantly losing. There's somebody on that tribe that's like big challenge threat, super charismatic. There's somebody on that tribe that is like kind of a mess and like needs to like pull their like. It's just like it feels like a lot of the same,
It's
but
like
with
formulaic almost.
right,
Yeah.
somehow, but like with less compelling characters almost. Like I much prefer like Emily and Caleb and oh man,
Sabaya.
yes. Then I do Q and Tiffany and Kenzie and Banu. Like I just it feels like a lot of the same but worse.
Yeah.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, not S. Not knowing Sabaya's name.
I had it, and then
It's
I had
been
the
a
first letter,
minute.
and the rest of it flew out.
That's what I came back to. I don't know. S.
Listen, it's been a minute.
Listen, better that than me just completely
it's
say a wrong name.
I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah, so Kyle, while you were getting yourself set up, we were just kind of going over what you guys had mentioned earlier before I joined you in the studio before we went live, which was just this cast not being very likable. So any thoughts that you wanted to share on that? We kind of gave some of ours.
Honestly, I'm just going to second a lot of that. I like Tiffany. She's enjoyable. I do like her. Q, I thought I was going to like. I do not. Banu, I really thought I was going to like. I do not.
There is so much Banu to get into this episode. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. What an irritant. And Banu's on Team Petty, right? Oof, you know I like to back my people, but this is a hard one. This is a hard one. Consider my back broken because this is no good. Backstabbed, whatever you want to call it. I feel betrayed. I feel very upset. Is there anyone else that I like? I still like Taylor Swift, man.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Man.
Yeah.
I think Charlie's my favorite right now, honestly. I love Charlie.
Oh. Well, Tiffany's still my favorite. She's still my favorite. I'm really digging her. But you know what? That's also, it's kind of unfair to say because I don't feel like we have seen enough of the other tribes. I was watching a little bit while I was restarting. Yeah, like I know you were talking about having like just all these multiple tribes, and I hate that. When you have two, I know we're gonna really beat this one into the ground. When you have two, at least at least you're getting like 2 different games and you get to know people. I feel like it's a shame that like Charlie is just going down as Taylor Swift man for me. Like, I should have known his name a little better for somebody that I feel endeared towards. And that's just because they haven't gone to tribal, so it doesn't mean anything to me. I will say the Nami people, I find them to be really grating. Oh my gosh, they're screaming, like especially Liz. She's always screaming and very excited, and like I just feel like she's too excited for the fact that y'all haven't really done anything. I mean, you're winning, but like
I like,
and I suppose that's the number one time to scream, right? I suppose
I do.
I'm contradicting.
I do like Tevin and Hunter thus far. I liked Brandon, but that
was such a bummer. That was such a bummer.
It felt like somehow it was my fault,
Why would it have been your fault, Michael?
Because I'm 3 for 3 right now, baby.
Yeah, you really are. You are like
just
your
when
team.
I thought I was safe.
Listen, if he was not medevaced, who knows how far he would have gone? Like that was a freak accident. He was set up pretty well.
I think he would have been crazy about it. I'm sorry, we're jumping to the end right now. What's crazy is like I've seen episodes of Survivor where they get pulled for 24 hours and then are back in the game. Like they get pulled for 24 hours to do a test and then end up back in. And I don't understand why that's not what happened this time around, especially considering that when he like his little blurb at the end, he was being like, yeah, I'm fine. Like it was not what they thought it was, and I am okay. So I don't
Right.
know. I don't
I
know
had the same
like
thought
quite
because we
why.
just
Well, do you think it's because this game is a little bit more accelerated, so like we don't
Maybe.
have time for you to be gone for a
Maybe. I'm
day?
wondering. I'm also.
Um,
I can't remember if that has happened on American Survivor or if it's only happened on Australian Survivor. I know for a fact it was on Australian Survivor.
right. Well, because that's what my first thought was. Because I was my first thought
Process.
was thinking, yeah, my first thought was thinking like Australian Survivor. We literally just watched two people in King George and
Oh.
who was the other one in the very first challenge, right? They both got
Oh,
hurt. Went to the
Yes.
hospital.
Oh my goodness. I
Jo-
don't remember, but
George came back into the game, competed, and went very far, and then the other person did not return.
Mm.
But like they both had the option, at least, you know. So, but
yeah,
again,
I don't
like
know.
oh, that lady.
yeah,
can't
like
remember
Kyle
her
said
name.
though, it could have been just Australian Survivor is like twice as long as American
Right.
Survivor right now.
The
So
acceleration of it all. Yeah. He said he wanted to come back, so who knows? Maybe we'll get another Bruce situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask
I
you
hope
guys.
so.
You think he might be back?
Yeah.
I'd
I
like to see
do
him again.
think he showed glimmers of being a really interesting player. I thought like his instincts were right. Like I think he was right to think about Venus the way he was thinking about Venus, but then like the fact that he was like, all right, well now I got to circle back and like I thought he was going to be interesting to watch. I'm disappointed that he is no longer with us in the
Yeah.
game. He's
Wow.
still alive.
Okay,
And
interesting. I thought he was a snooze fest.
Yeah, that
I
idol
don't-
too.
This
he
exit
had,
didn't
yeah.
affect me at all.
But-
To quote Kyle, I feel like he had good bones. You know, like there was like something there.
Yeah.
I feel like Randon is one that we didn't get to see enough of because the Nami tribe was doing very well, but also within the Nami tribe, you just have bigger personalities. Like I think that Randon could have been very interesting in how he played, like, but he gets overshadowed by people like Tevin and Soda, who are just, I feel like they're higher up in the tribe, hierarchy. So Randon gets kind of buried at the bottom. But I also, and obviously the most important thing is Randon's health, and like I'm glad he's okay. But I do wonder what this will mean for Venus's game moving forward, because with him, that advantage also left. So I wonder how Venus
That's
will now have to pivot.
She's an interesting one because like it feels like she's just like pitting herself against everyone. Like all of a sudden she's like, Hunter's a mastermind and we can't trust it. And it's like, he's building a bed, my guy. Like, relax. Chill.
He's
First
building
of
a
all-
bad, and I don't know. I saw glimmers of maybe why she doesn't come off as very likable. Like I think it was Randon who was asking her, like, "All right, so why do you think this about Hunter? Why do I think this about Hunter? Because I'm not blind."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, all right, okay, like that's like relax, babe. I thought that was a little bit much. Yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't take too well to that. Like,
Yeah.
honey,
Yeah.
we only here for 3 weeks.
We did
Also-
get a comment in here related to Randon too that Exit
Interesting.
Press confirmed that he wouldn't be able to re-enter because it took him 7 months to regain full use of his arm. So
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Frank, for that.
Thank you for that information.
I appreciate the several 7. That made me giggle.
Yes.
To that Venus and Hunter point, though, wildly impressive that man built a bed with what they like.
I was like, okay, sure,
Like,
build
what?
me one.
What?
That was really, that really was something. That actually did look like it was probably very comfortable.
I did laugh a lot too because I saw a tweet of people being like, he didn't say like I'm making the tribe a bed. He said, I'm gonna make me a bed. Y'all do you. This is my bed. Thank you. Like,
Yeah.
I think if one of them was like, make me one too, he might have done it. Like, it doesn't feel like he was like, I'm doing this to spite you all. I don't know. But like, I
I
would
know, it's just the verbiage of
it.
it was very funny.
I'm making myself a bed. Go, what?
Yeah, I liked Tevin. I think Tevin was the one that was like, "Oh, make me a Tempur-Pedic next."
Yeah.
Brandon could have used that bed. That's for damn sure.
Aw.
Boop, 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 boop.
Oh man. Yeah. Hunter's definitely interesting to watch. This was a big episode for him. He had like a great performance in the immunity / reward challenge.
Oh my god, he literally did it all by himself.
Yeah.
It's like, look at him go.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, we're kind of all over the place, which is I feel like how this is always going to go. But let's just talk about that challenge. So we had the players from each tribe have to leap into the water, then climb over these stacks of crates, then climb over a rolling barrel, and then up a net ramp. Then they'd have to dig through the sand to find these sandbags, which they then have to land on targets. Nami fell way behind. It actually looked like Yanu might pull out a win. Siga was just kind of like okay throughout it, but like but Nami was absolutely just falling behind until Hunter made that crazy move over the rolling pin, going over with Tevin, made up a lot of time, and then he landed like every one of those targets so easily, while Siga and Yanu just struggled. It's came down to the wire between Siga and Yanu, but luckily for Siga, Charlie landed the target first. Meaning that Yanu would be going to their third straight tribal council. There was also a reward in this, tarp and toolkits. So yeah,
can't wait to see what Hunter builds next.
Yeah, right?
If I were Hunter, I would have been like, wow, that toolkit would have been really helpful a few hours ago when I was building a bed by hand.
Yeah. So 3 straight immunity challenges, and 3 times in a row we've had the exact same results. Nami in first, Siga in second, Yanu in third. I didn't happen to notice if Soda tried to rip the immunity idol away from Venus this time.
I was like locked in. They handed it right to Hunter. They were like, you earned this, my guy.
Yeah. And then go ahead, Kyle.
Well, were they not allowed to switch out with the beanbag throwing?
They were.
Some of them were.
Q and Tiffany switched.
Because I don't why were the other people not participating on Yanu? Why was it only Q and Tiff that were throwing?
They probably thought they wouldn't be able to.
Sitting there watching.
I think they were probably
is completely unacceptable. If your tribe is losing, how is everybody not like all hands on deck? Like, let me give it a go.
Right.
Like, I found that so frustrating.
It made
you're gonna sit there like, oh, I can't believe we lost. And it's like, well, maybe if you had some fucking skin in the game.
Right, like it made sense to me why no one was swapping out with Hunter. It's like he's got this on lock. Like I'm just gonna stand by and let you do your thing.
No, he's
but when you're losing, like step it up.
Right.
It was because even on Siga, I'm pretty sure that Ben started it and at one point was like, nope, can't do it. Someone swapped in, and then Charlie went in and pretty much got them all.
They were just, and it was starting to make me think like, what was it? Only 2 people that could do this, like a puzzle. Like you had to select 2, and maybe those are the only 2 that could swap in and out. Like I wasn't.
I would imagine Kenzie and Banu were just like, nope, not going to be me that does that. Not going to be.
I feel like we see it all the time that they swap out on this kind of a thing. Like I don't think there's any limit to
and
that.
It's like it was just sitting down and watching that like really, really frustrated me when your team's not winning. Like
especially after literally in the previous episode, you made such a big deal out of how Jess wasn't contributing and that's why you lost because she wasn't working as hard as everybody else. Now you're gonna sit down and not be a part of trying to win this.
Yeah. Like get up and get going. I don't know. Boo hiss.
What did you think then? What did you think then of Q being back at the Yanu camp after the challenge and basically saying like, vote me out. I deserve to go home after that performance. Very dramatic to me. Very dramatic.
Then bye. I
know. Like, at this point,
who says they want to go,
go. Especially in the beginning, if you're like, I'm not really in it. Fine. Made my life a lot easier. No blood on my hands. Just get out of here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. We also had a journey. We had a journey in this episode. These journeys, I'm so honestly, I'm tired of these journeys in general, but like I'm also tired. Is this the second one in a row that we went and like nobody solved the puzzle to get an advantage, right?
Yeah.
It feels
what's the
like
point of these puzzles?
They're making these puzzles either too hard or not giving a long enough time or something. I also like I in the first couple seasons of the new era, the journeys were like they had to like trek this whole mountain hill thing and like they had all this time to talk and like then they split up and they made like the prisoner's dilemma, which while not like the ideal thing to watch, like was interesting because like it was like, okay, like how are these people going to interact with each other? Like what's going to be their thing? And then they go off and they make their own decisions based on the information that they gathered in that moment. But like this one, especially where it was like one person just like by chance doesn't even get to participate, felt
Yeah, that was
ridiculous.
really
Like it's like,
annoying.
why even? Why do that? Why not
Why
just have the
go?
rocks? It's I don't know. This one especially, I was like, this is
Yeah.
we've really lost the plot here on the
And then
journeys.
when we did have that opportunity to see everybody talk about what's going on and like, you know, compare, it was literally just Banu word vomiting about
Mhm.
everything, all the tea on his tribe, and then
Oh
being
my
like, you know
God.
what? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say a goddamn word. I'm just gonna take notes. Like,
Mm.
I'm
He
not saying
had
anything.
he had an absolute meltdown here, like to the point where that little stand that was in the sand there that had the instructions,
Mhm.
like he had like he was down on his knees with his hands up on this thing, like crying.
Too
And I was like,
much.
man, this is like if you make it to merge, this is not a good impression to be leaving on people from the other tribe. I feel like
Mm.
not only are you spilling every secret of the Yanu tribe and how crazy it's been, but now like is anyone gonna want to work with you knowing how like
Right. By the time we get to merge, or the way it's looking for them, a tribe swap, like no one's gonna want to include him in any of their
Right.
plans. They're like, this guy is
Right.
a wild card. He's totally unhinged.
yeah, this guy is spilling everything. He's so super emotional. I'm very emotional. Being emotional is not a bad thing. I don't think I'd be like this on Survivor though. Like
This
if
is
I was there.
There's a time and a place, and with two strangers that are gonna be using that information against you in the future, that's not really the time nor the place. I'd argue.
Yeah.
But also like fine, be emotional. Like if the whole thing was him being like, oh, I think I'm gonna go home. Like I really need this advantage. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and that was the end of it. Fine. But then coming in being like, yeah, no, Kenzie's totally running the show, and
Mm.
Q and Tiffany have this whole thing off to the side. Like I can't break it. Like there's just so much about it that like, yeah, be emotional. But then he just kept telling the secrets of his tribe. Like it went past
Right.
emotional and just started being insanity.
Yeah.
Just stop talking.
Yeah.
Mm.
I also, as a viewer, don't really want my 90 minutes of this extended episode to be filled with a stupid ass journey where nothing basically happens and
Right.
Banu
Right.
crying. It was like it's like this is a waste. You can go right back to an hour if this was the case.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So we had Liz, Banu, and Ben there.
Yes.
Liz drew the white rock, which meant that she'd be going back to camp. Banu and Ben drew the blue rock, which meant that they now had to risk their vote. And this is what bothers me about this tribe too. Like, you're sending someone home. You're taking like the strategic ability from the players away. Like maybe Banu. I feel like would not have risked his vote if he didn't have to.
Right. I like
No,
when they were
yeah, he
given the
literally said that
choice.
he wanted the white
Right.
rock. Like he was
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, so now I'm just at the mercy of this, whatever happens at this this puzzle. Like, we've seen plenty of times where the people go on this journey, all three of them go down a path, have to do some puzzle, but they have a choice. If you want to risk your vote, you can do this. If you don't want to risk your vote, don't participate. And it's like, what's the point? Okay, and then that brings me to another point that we've talked about many times. So Banu and Ben both don't have votes in this. Jem found a beware advantage. 3 people lost their vote in this episode and don't have it back yet.
Mhm.
Like, that's just
Yeah.
so stop taking everybody's votes away. Like,
Kyle's
Banu's tribe
very
has 4
upset.
people in it. Like, the Yanu tribe has 4 people in it. There's only 4 votes. Now only 3 votes. Like, I hate this. I hate this. I hate it.
Yeah, at the very least, like, fine with the beware advantage, whatever. But in the journeys, they should be given the option. I liked it when it was like the big wheel and like there was all of that
Yeah.
going on. Like, give them the choice. I will either risk my vote and try to do this challenge for a reward, or I'm not going to chance it. Like drawing the rock, like for Liz to get all the way there for no reason was annoying. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, agreed. And like she got some information out of it, but like who's to say that's information that she's going to be able to use in the next 2-3 weeks anyway? Like that's it,
Especially
I don't
considering
know.
the way that Banu was talking, like he's gonna be on the outs anyway. So like, yeah, I guess the relationships between the other 3 tribe members kind of matters, but like, does it? You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like it seems like such a foregone conclusion that like whenever Yanu does lose again, Banu is probably the one going home. But like, what was exciting to me was the the idea that maybe Q could try to shake things up with Banu and try to get Kenzie out. But that makes it infinitely harder to even attempt that now because Banu doesn't have a vote.
Right.
Even if Tiffany decides to go along with it, which she might not do, you know, like it's just, it really pisses me off.
I feel this way about a lot of like the new, not even just like we talk about this with Big Brother all the time. It's like as soon as something really looks like it's going to be exciting, whatever random twist they thought would shake the game up stops the exciting thing dead in its tracks. Like that, specifically that Q thing, I was like, okay, I'm so excited to see what this looks like. Like, what kind of a blindside are we going to get? How are you going to try to like, you know, maneuver these votes? But knowing that whenever that next tribal happens, however long from now it happens, like by that time, the structure of things might be totally different anyway, you know? Like, I don't know.
Who's to say that Q's even going to have a vote then?
Right.
Like,
It's, yeah. Because I have to assume they're going to keep doing these journeys until someone gets one of the advantages, you know?
Right. Yeah, so we've kind of been all over the place, like we said. I'm trying to see if I've missed anything. So I did take some notes.
Not Kyle in the chat. He's still here, y'all. Kyle hates when we lose votes. Yeah, right. There aren't that many. We were literally going into this tribal with 4, if we were to have a tribal, with 4 votes, and then you take away Banu's. That's 3 people voting on week 3, like on the 3rd episode. Lame. So lame.
Terrible. Okay, so there were some notes I had here about Yanu. Crazy to me that they still have not gotten their Flint a week into the game.
Wild.
Yeah. I actually felt really bad for them too, like how we opened up with them sleeping under this rock wall because they said that their shelter has holes in it. Like they are really
They're struggling.
They're going through it.
And like, that's the thing though. It's like every time one tribe gets hit so hard right at the beginning. Like it's just like I don't know what it is because like it doesn't feel like they're particularly outmatched by the other tribes, you know?
No,
like,
but it's like when your tribes are already so small, as soon as you lose a number, like so much of these is like big team competitions.
Right. But
so
that's
as
the
soon
thing,
as you're
though,
down a
it's
number,
like,
you're shit out of luck for the rest of the time.
You're down a number, but then like the tribe in the challenges, you're not like there's not extra members on the other, like people are sitting out. So you have even numbers. So it's just like, how is it that like, is it just because they're not eating as much? Like, what is it? Like,
I don't know. It's so
every
consistently a
time, it's
problem. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I think it could be like a mixture of things because like when you think about it, like so that tribe that loses initially, like they're definitely eating the least, like we said. But then I feel like a lot of times because it's that first vote, like things are kind of up in the air. And like we saw, they voted Jelinski out. Jelinski might have helped them in that persistence immunity challenge because he's got the height. You know, we talked about that. Like, I feel like maybe it's a mixture of just not getting enough nutrition. That first, you know, tribal council being sort of a wild card and maybe a stronger player being voted out than should have been. And then even though it's only one person that tribe is down, the other 2, even though they're sitting someone out to even up the numbers, you can kind of strategically say, like, let's sit this person out because this group of 5 will be better for the tribe. Like, I don't know, like, maybe those factors kind of all play into it where that first tribe that loses an immunity challenge, like, is just put at such a disadvantage. I don't know.
It's definitely a thing too, where like nowadays, like the whole idea of we have to keep the strength is so like people say that now and you're like, no, it's 2024, we don't have to keep the strength, we can do, but it's like at the end of the day, like you need the strength. Like unfortunately, as much as that sucks, like you need strength on your tribe to win these challenges.
Even when these challenges are puzzles, before you get to the puzzles, there's like you got to run up this thing and move this giant thing, and like there's so much strength involved to get to the puzzle that like you never just get mental competitions on here.
Right. It's I don't know. So like, cause like we saw it with that first in what was it, 42 with Xander and that tribe where like they were like so against keeping strength that they got rid of all their guys other than Xander and continued to lose every challenge until they were down to 3 people. And it's just like, I don't know. At some point, they've got to be looking at this format and being like, oh, there's a clear pattern of what's happening here. Like something needs to change.
Yeah.
I feel like they're very stubborn. Like they're not going to get there. They're so super proud of the new era. The new
Mm.
era. You know, drop the 4, keep the 1. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping something gives.
I hope so too.
I will be right back.
All right.
Let us
Sure.
dipping and tarting tonight.
I
It's
know,
that kind
right? A
of
lot
day.
of movement. A lot of movement. So we did have. I want to talk a little bit more about Gem finding this Beware advantage too, because the Sega tribe was having like a tribe-wide idol hunt. Everybody knew that everyone was searching. They weren't, hiding from it. They all agreed to do it. And they were close to each other. I think when Gem actually found the Beware advantage, she was like right next to Charlie. And for like the first time in how many seasons, the person that found the Beware advantage, at least for the time being, hasn't told anyone about it. So I am curious though, because you know what else I found interesting was that Gem was the first person to actually pick up the box and move it from where it was. Did you notice that? Like,
Yes.
I'm a little nervous that somebody's gonna find this box. Like, did she hide it well enough? Everyone else just kind of buried it where it was, made it look just like it was, So I'm curious about.
I think that's interesting to kind of chat about for a moment because, like, I wonder, like, so you move the box, but you're the only one that knows that you need to return to the spot where the box was to get further instructions on how to open the box. So if people don't know to go back there, it's actually, you could almost argue that maybe it makes more sense to move it.
Oh, sure.
Right.
And not leave everything together. Because if somebody is searching, like if you dug up this area, I have to imagine, like I understand we're in the jungle. I was going to say the woods, but I guess like the jungle or whatever. Like they might be able to tell that something has been dug up. So I could see like maybe like kind of looking around that area, like what's going on over here. But if there's nothing there to find, then you wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good to move it unless you pull like a
that's a
Mark
fair
from
point.
Survivor AU and just rip the whole damn thing apart.
Yank!
Exactly. Like who
Right.
cares? I don't care about this lock. I'm gonna just bust it up anyway.
Right.
Or just take the machete to it. I mean, I guess it could be like a bad end to that, but I don't know. I'm excited to kind of see how that one plays out. That could have been a smart move.
that's
I
fair.
agree. I agree. I am curious because it's tied into something that we saw in the next on. So for the next on, this is what I'm thinking about. So Sega, we saw a little update. We saw like in the next on, we saw a little scene where a couple of members of the Sega tribe find something that they describe as mysterious at camp. I'm assuming that Gem kept the scroll or whatever that explains like come back to this spot where you dug this up. But I'm wondering if like people are finding if I'm maybe found the box and are like, what the hell is this? But because the scroll is gone, there's no explanation, or if they found something else. So, but all we know is that Sega found something.
Here's the question I have: if she does pull a Mark from Australian Survivor and bust that thing open, is it valid?
It was for him.
It was in Australia.
Yeah, but I feel like it did say in the scroll, right? Like that the key is required to open the box. So like, I don't know.
It did say that. I didn't remember that part.
Also, something worth noting, they mentioned in the thing, like if your tribe does not get to tribal, there is further instructions, which is a question we always have. So,
Right.
like,
yes.
that definitely stuck out to me. I was like, oh, there it is. Maybe that's
I
gonna
feel like
come
that's
into
kind of
play.
foreshadowing. Right. That's gonna be her story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm curious about that.
I was proud of your girl, John.
Yeah.
Well, did we cover the
She
Venus
played
thing?
it well, man.
Did we cover Venus and the fact that she kind of knows some things about this advantage? Like, is she allowed to go digging? Like, once they do lose?
Oh.
The only thing that we had touched on was that Randon left, and we, from what Venus said in the episode, is that the advantage is leaving with Randon. So like he didn't get a chance to pass it to her, I guess. So I guess that's going to go back out into play.
Or does it? Yeah. Do you need those directions to know? If she already knows that she needs to return to the place, I mean, does she know where it was?
I wonder if
I don't know.
She didn't find it, she doesn't get the key. Like it's very like because she didn't lose her vote. So maybe it's
Right.
Oh, sure.
I would imagine it wouldn't pass on to her.
See, I think that's a little
Automatically.
lame because I think it's actually
Oh.
exciting. If Randon was still there and you told somebody about this Beware advantage and they beat you to it, tough
Yeah.
nookies. Should have told them.
Mm.
I don't know. I think that's good television.
Right.
That's where like the risk the vote thing gets so dicey because we've seen before that like, you know, happens all the time. Someone's like, oh, just hold on to, you know, this idol for safekeeping or like whatever, and that it's their idol. Or we even saw it when they were doing that whole stupid like butterflies or dead relatives saying hi bullshit. But like
my broccoli is rotten.
Right. But we saw like I think it was Shan, somebody who had not found it just said the thing that she was supposed to say. And now that's her advantage, you know? Like she didn't find it. She didn't do all the work, but she just knew the magic words to say. And now it's hers because everybody said the right thing. So like when you have to risk your vote to gain an advantage, it's so dicey because it's like, again, you're stopping the game dead in its tracks. You know, there is an opportunity for something exciting to be there, something sneaky to go on, someone to like get their hands on something that's not theirs. Now they use it under your, like, you know, like, I don't know. There's just so many opportunities for excitement that are now cut off.
Nullified.
I'm still just thinking about my broccoli is rotten.
That's all I remember. I just something about broccoli.
I think it was like broccolis are tiny trees or something.
Yeah, my broccoli is rotten. Don't call it Rob. I don't know. It's like they're all very stupid.
Manwan Monday.
We were in the middle of a conversation.
The first time I descend to the playing of the Manwan Monday.
Speaking of cutting things off.
I just we were talking about broccoli.
Yeah, really. It's not. I guess we weren't really saying anything groundbreaking.
But we were having a good time doing
it. Stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just want to see somebody else lose.
Yes.
I'm sick of looking at these people, even though purple's my favorite color. Y'all are not doing it any justice, though.
I've got a question.
Pose
so
it.
Something else from the next on. Is we saw Tevin voicing his displeasure with Soda, which would be a bit of a change because Tevin and Soda have been, you know, working together. They've been close. Of course, Liz, I got you. I'm always here to give you your Manwan Monday special. So.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah. So I'm curious about how this Tevin and Soda thing will go now. Do you think there's any possibility that maybe Nami could even potentially throw a challenge to try to get somebody out if they wanted to? Now they're down a person, you know, like maybe Tevin's like, all right. He specifically said Soda has got to go to. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about the Tevin and Soda split?
I think that's an interesting split up in that tribe, just because like everything did seem so solid. So to have it go a different direction, I'm not quite convinced we're going to see them lose, and I'm not sure that I don't think, especially because they just lost somebody, I would be surprised if they felt comfortable enough to throw the challenge. I could see maybe, what is it, Yanni, the Green Tribe, going that direction, but Tiga. Yeah, I don't see why with the tribes this small they would ever come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I would hope not. Especially if we're on the verge of a swap, but we may not be now because they didn't actually get down to 3, Yanu.
Yeah, this medevac kind of evened out things a little bit.
A little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah, we would have been at 6, 6, and 3 after this episode.
Yeah,
if
I
things
think
went
that
to
would have
plan.
prompted a swap.
Yeah.
Do you think
Now,
it's also
instead,
possible
we're
that that's why they actually told him he had to leave and didn't give him the one day?
Because they didn't feel like doing a swap yet.
Yeah, it's like, actually, this kind of works out. So you know what? You can just come back next year.
That would be
God, I hope not.
Yeah, that would be so messed up.
And that's foul, but I also don't put it past them.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yes.
But it's so true when you think like when you think about it, like the tribes being split at 6, 5, and 4 the way they are now. That is so different than being 6, 6, and 3. Like that is insanely different. Just with this one little thing.
Because
Wow.
like 6 and 3, you have 6 people. You have half of 2 tribes sitting out of the challenge
Right, and that's
in that
crazy.
situation.
And
That's-
this poor other tribe, they have not eaten not a lick. Ain't it? They got
Mhm.
no flint. Okay, they never seen nobody flame. That mean that rice is uncooked. They're just sitting around eating coconuts and drinking some water.
They're literally sleeping under a rock because their shelter is leaking.
They got nothing. They need some help.
They do.
Yeah.
They need some milk.
Not milk.
I know
They
it
need
feels
milk.
like
they don't need fish and anything else. They need milk.
I know that like it seems like we've talked about like it seems like there's always one tribe that gets dominated like this every year, but for
Mhm.
some reason Yanu just seems way more sad than any of the others. I don't know why. Like,
I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, they just really going through it. Because they were saying that it rained, they got rained on. I mean, they have had no good fortune.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like if you look at Tika from 2 seasons ago, like we had 3 of the most likable players, like
right.
most positive players, I would even say on that tribe, like between Jam, Carolyn, and
Carson.
Carson. I almost said
Put
Carter.
some
I was like, that's
respect on
wrong.
his name.
And Carson, like they were like just like generally likable, positive people.
Yeah.
So like even though like we saw them losing, like they still felt like very endearing. Whereas like these people, like for the most part, this tribe is like, especially like you have Banu like really just like losing his shit 24/7. It just like it feels like it kind of brings down the vibe.
Absolutely. That energy would absolutely destroy mine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 I don't know how nobody's like flipped out on him. Cause y'all, y'all hungry. Y'all are hungry. And
I would be so
like
hangry. I'd be like, pop, pop.
Exactly.
Enough.
I would have already ripped him up. He would have
Get
quit.
it together. Get out of my face and shut up.
Exactly. This isn't happening just to you, okay?
Something tells me people are just like showing a lot of restraint on that tribe.
And I don't know how they're doing it on an empty stomach. I'm sorry.
Truly, if I'm that hungry, there is no amount of restraint. I'm going in.
No.
Banu had a couple of lines that I liked in this episode.
You did?
Yeah. One was, I believe he said, let me see, what was it? I wrote it down. You have to when to show, when to shot.
Oh my God.
You have to know when to hold and when to fold.
This whole like confessional, I was ready to rip my hair out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He also said that Kenzie is a mermaid dragon. Do you feel like Kenzie is a mermaid dragon?
But he said mermaid to here. That's the human part of the mermaid, Banu. That's not the mermaid part. There's nothing
mermaid about here up.
That's the mermaid part.
I've never seen Mikey get so animated on this podcast.
Ridiculous. Come on.
Listen,
Oh,
Mikey
my
is nothing but
goodness.
consistent. He loves a little mermaid. We're not going to have you disrespecting mermaids on my favorite show.
Ridiculous.
It's
typical.
I really didn't give that any thought whatsoever.
Man.
I thought he was just speaking to her beauty and the fact that her
I
hair does
guess.
come off reddish. You know.
I guess.
I know. We're reaching. We're reaching.
I
know. The human part of the mermaid.
It is. It's right. Yeah.
So
but
Banu
anytime there's any Banu nonsense, I just keep thinking, this is why it's 90 minutes. This is why it's 90 minutes. Why are you filling my 90 minutes with this? I would rather you give me 2 challenges. Stop putting reward and immunity together. Let's split that up like we used to know. Okay, the way we used to play Survivor. And then like you can actually fill it with some good stuff. Because this is not it. It's not it.
There was a lot of things that Banu said in this episode that I was kind of like, man,
like everything. Like,
what are you talking about? Because there was even one point where he was talking about like the trio of Q, Tiffany, and Kenzie, saying that like they're 3 masterminds. It's my one mind against their 3 minds, and I'm like, what makes Q? Listen, I like Tiffany a lot. I really am not a huge fan of Q. Kenzie, I'm kind of whatever. I don't see how any of the 3 of them are masterminds.
Well, they made a fake idol, John. That's groundbreaking. They made a fake idol. For
Never
no
seen
reason.
that before.
Seriously. Oh my gosh. There was something else. Shoot. I also, just from a very selfish perspective, I can't have Yanu losing anymore. The majority of my team is on this tribe. Like, I'm like, can y'all get it together, please?
Listen, Kyle, just because their tribe wins doesn't mean they're not going home. Learned that the hard way this week. My God, I thought I was safe.
Poor
This
Mike.
was the first time I thought I was safe.
Poor Mike.
Ain't nobody on Yanu anymore.
It's so funny because when I was reading in the group chat, because I didn't want to open up anything, and I saw 17 texts, I was like, "Oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to open it." But the last thing that you said was, "Oh, this is going to be my redemption arc," and I was like, "I'm watching this episode. I'm like, what is he talking about?" I'm like, "It's definitely curtains for me, unless Q goes home." Like, I was like, "What is he upset about?" And then all of a sudden, you see Jeff coming down with the medic, and I was like, "Thank God."
I literally like
they were like, what was it, Tiffany and Kenzie, or was it Tiffany and Bonnie that were literally mid-conversation, and then Jeff just like creeps into the frame a little bit, or like literally just like jump shots and he's there and they're like, "What?"
like, hello?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I hadn't watched the episode until today, but I'm like, of course, I open up Twitter or whatever and everything's there, and I start seeing Randon's name pop up. I said, "You have got to be kidding," because we were just saying how funny would it be if Mikey in a row just lost his entire team, and we were like, ha, that's never gonna happen. Out goes Randon, completely out of his control. I was like, oh no, I think we did this to him.
Who do you have left?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Tim?
I was just pulling it up. I was just gonna say,
Tim,
Mikey,
exactly.
Mikey's watch Mikey just laughing at all of us. So at the end of the season, Tim is the winner.
For him, I hope that's the case.
He's crossed.
Yeah, he's got Tim, and then y'all got Liz, and that's what Mikey has.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Tim and Liz.
Taking Ben. I should have overlooked the overalls. Next season, I'm drafting based on which pictures have the worst vibe. And then we'll see.
Next season, Mikey's literally picking the most busted members of these tribes and being like, "That's mine. That's mine."
Oh damn. That's all right.
Overalls.
We'll still make room for you on my team if I got anybody left by the time we get there. Because Yanu's gonna start winning, or else I'm gonna get decimated too. This is not good.
It is pretty wild when you consider that 3 of your 4 members are on Yanu, the tribe that's been getting decimated, and you still haven't taken a hit yet, Kyle. It is pretty wild. That's wild.
Mikey's got them all.
But listen, though, like we were just talking about Tika, and not for nothing, like that tribe got down to 3 people, and they ended up being our final 3. So I mean, you never know what Team Penny could be pulling out here.
That is true. Listen, we ain't out until we out.
Very true.
They were in the final 3.
Oh, man.
Carson was in final 3.
Was he not? Oh my God, he wasn't.
He was 4.
Oh, that's right. Carson was on the jury. Yeah,
no, for shame. Deepest.
Sorry,
it was wishful thinking.
Not to shame you in front of everybody. It was wishful thinking.
I'm so sorry. No, I deserve it. I spoke
not
very
to shame you in front of everybody, but shame.
Listen, I was very confidently wrong. I deserve it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sorry to this woman.
So, the only thing about Banu that I'll say, I was mentioning some of the lines he said in this episode, but on the next we see him saying another simple statement, which is just, "I said something wrong."
Shocker.
What do you think he said wrong? What do you think?
Literally could have been anything.
If his mouth was moving, he said something wrong.
Right.
It was followed up by Kenzie saying Banu's got to go. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there.
We shall.
Does anyone else have anything for this episode? For episode 3, though?
Congrats, Team Dumphy, on your first episode win.
Thank you very much. I guess should
So
we go over
welcome.
these?
Yeah, let's look at some
Let's
points.
give it a gander.
Yeah.
I mean, it
So-
also is worth noting I was only beat by half a point.
Point
Yeah, he
five.
squeaked right on by.
0.5.
Yeah.
You would have had
Um,
more points, Kyle, if they had gone to tribal, but instead, you know.
That's right, because I also would have lost points if they went to tribal because I definitely would have lost a person.
Yeah.
So that's
But-
okay. I'll take my 0.5 loss.
You did also still have a win, both you and Mikey this week, though.
That's true.
With the leftovers, Team
Liz
Petty
pulled out over
Marmon
Ben this
Petty,
week.
yeah,
Leftovers.
with 12.5 points to Team Morgino Dunphy's 10 points for Ben. So what gave Liz the edge over Ben this week, Mikey?
She
I'm
didn't lose her-
genuinely curious because
No,
Mikey. is the
I
one
know
that-
you are, but it was the way that you asked it that made me laugh. So what gave
Liz did not lose her vote, whereas Ben did.
Ah.
right. Okay.
Because they
Very
did
good,
have
very
very
good, very good.
similar weeks, but he lost that
Yeah.
vote, which put him under.
Got it. Okay. Very good. Very good. And then
Good sense. That's all.
well, these are the season team totals. So Kyle Petty still has the lead here.
Ayo. Come on,
138
Petty.
points. Yeah. Team Morgino still in second place with 130.5 points. Team Dunphy in third with 116. And then the season totals, Morgino Dunphy with Ben is still winning 39.5 to 31 over Petty and Marmon with Liz. What's going on right now?
I have 16. So
Yeah, I
I have
do.
about half as many points for the season as you guys have.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I will say that I'm considerably tickled by the fact that, like Survivor is to Mikey as Big Brother is to us. And to see him come in as like the Survivor guru and just get absolutely annihilated, not just with the draft, but with the fantasy draft points that he
created.
Like, this is his system. And like, oh my gosh. It's
I-
At least you know I'm being honest in my
Yes,
point.
I'm just saying,
system.
it does make me laugh.
I could not stop laughing. Was it last week that his full tribe total was less than the total of like one person? Because we had Ben.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm
Really-
sorry. I'm sorry you're being treated this way, Mikey. I'm sorry.
Fine. Listen,
He had a
I'm
great
just gonna
season
come
last
on-
year, okay?
I'm gonna come in strong next season, and you're all gonna be sorry. I'm already
We
looking.
might be.
I'm looking ahead, looking to
Yeah.
September.
And you should.
All right.
You should.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
let today's failures impact tomorrow's successes.
Damn
I'll
right.
leave you with
Listen,
that.
Tim could win it
Monday.
all, all
So-
right? We don't know.
He could. Actually, that makes me think. So let's bring up the individual castaway point totals
The
for episode 3.
individuals.
So I was surprised in this to see Venus up so high. For this one, why did Venus get 12? I know Liz technically had the most points of the episode with 12.5, but I know she had the whole journey and everything. But what put Venus up there like in second place? And Banu also actually has 12.
That's a great question. I don't know.
I can't believe, as much as I've been ragging on Banu was my big point getter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure how these got out of order. What it should be in descending order. Let me pull up the point chart. I'm not quite sure what Venus did this episode that got her so
Let's
high.
see. Well, I got this.
I'm
I got
being
this in here
honest.
too.
She's got a lot of. Oh, she had a bunch of confessionals. Banu's confessional account put him over.
Oh, sure.
She's got those confessions. Venus had a few confessionals. She has a couple 1-pointers too, and the double 2-pointers. The tribe wins always put you over because she has the reward win and the immunity win on there, which puts you on double points. I'm pulling it up. Sorry, my computer's taking forever. Also, I think I'm frozen.
I mean, we hear you.
Oh, there we go.
I also like. There's something else I was thinking.
Oh, she
about.
curses. That's what it is.
Oh,
Cursing
she gets
on
points
camera
for
gets you a
cursing?
point. Yes, she
Oh.
does.
So because she's got a potty
That's
mouth, she's
so fun. Man, put
foul.
me on
Yeah,
Survivor.
right.
We
You
get
get
the
a
mad
bleep, you get a
points.
point.
I'm telling you, I've been raking them in.
That's so funny.
I also was thinking about, because you mentioned the reward immunity challenge, right? Getting points for that if you win that. And it's something else I was thinking about in this episode, because we've had 3 episodes, right? And each episode, the reward/immunity challenge, they've been one competition, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want more just reward challenges, and I want them to
Separate
be
'em.
better rewards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything has been a tarp or a toolkit or fishing gear, and I get that that stuff is important in the game. I get it. That's the stuff that tribes want. But like, we have this, time right now where we're watching both Survivor 46 and Australian
Mhm.
Survivor, and I'm just thinking about like these rewards that they have in Australian Survivor that are like way more interesting at times, because like they involve going off somewhere and having to choose certain people that maybe you want to
Yeah.
strategize with, or maybe you pick somebody just because you don't want them going back to camp and talking to someone else. And like, you have all these different other little factors, and I just don't understand why we can't have separate challenge, especially if we're going to have 2-hour episodes and 90-minute episodes. Most of the Australian Survivor episodes that we watch seem like they are an hour to an hour and a half without commercial, like with commercials. So like, why can they fit in? It seems so much more, and like so much more substance than American Survivor, even when we're doing 2-hour episodes. Like, I just don't
Because
get
we
it.
have to go on a journey. It's almost like the journey has taken up that reward
Right,
challenge.
yeah.
Time.
They're putting more days into these episodes, because even though
Sure.
I mean they don't have that many more episodes, considering they have about twice the amount of days too. By the way, I did catch up, so I'm all up to date as of yesterday.
Oh, nice,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Some good shit happened on this season. This has been a fun one to watch.
Are you free on Thursday?
No, I've got a show.
No, we tried.
Yeah. It would have been fun to talk
it
to
would've been
finale
fun.
with you.
No, yeah.
I might be able
That's
to.
right.
I might be able to sneak in and sneak in the chat for a little bit, though. I'll see.
Okay. All right. It's 10:15
Yeah.
Eastern.
Oh, 10:15? Oh, maybe then. My show is at what? 7:30. I'll be done at 10.
Hell
Well, if
yeah.
you want to run off stage and hop on a stream,
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's
I'll see
often-
I'll see where the night takes me.
Yeah. I mean, it often becomes 10:20, but yeah.
yeah. All right.
Is this finale coming up?
This
This
is
week?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
week. But all right. Does anyone have anything else for Survivor 46, episode 3?
I do
I don't
not.
think so.
I've aired
No.
my grievances.
Okay. I guess we'll see what happens. Liz was saying in the chat that she felt like the preview for next week's episode 4, looked like it might be okay. So hopefully it'll be a better episode than this one anyway. Mikey, you will not be with
Looked
us
like it might
next
be
Monday.
okay.
No, I
It's
won't.
crazy.
I'll send you all the points and everything. I'll send the point chart your way too again. I think I put it in the chat a while ago, but I'll send that again so you have some sort of basis.
Yeah.
But no, I will be away next week.
Okay.
Okay.
So for so next Monday, this is what we have coming up. Next Monday, the 25th, will be without Mikey. It'll be me, Kyle, and Gina talking about episode 4, Survivor 46. But before that, because that's next Monday. That's a long time from now.
That's
And
so
before
far
that,
away.
yeah, right. Like the people need more of us this week, right?
But first,
So this Thursday, what is that? The 21st? Am I right? Yeah, the 21st, March 21st at 9 p.m. A little bit of a schedule change. We'll be doing 9 p.m. We'll be covering the latest week of Big Brother Canada season 12, which has been fun so far.
so fun.
And then, as Kyle mentioned, at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be discussing. Oh my God, I can't even talk right now. Discussing the finale week of Australian Survivor: Titans versus Rebels, which has been phenomenal. Things that I've been reading online are people saying it's one of the best seasons ever. And
Yes.
Australian Survivor has some great seasons. So this show has been great. Definitely come hang out. We'll be talking all about it. And that's what we have coming up over the next week or so. If you want to find us on the socials, of course, you can do so at StratChatPod. Find us on all the social media platforms. Throw us a like, a comment, a subscription. If you listen to us audio only, head over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave us a really nice review. It is super helpful, and we would really appreciate it. So that's it. We are going to be seeing you very soon. Thanks very much for hanging out, everybody.
Bye.
Lidl.